Today we're actually going to find out what these Edelbrock Performer RPM small block Mopar cylinder heads will actually do on the flow bench. Stick around. Before we even get a cylinder head on the flow bench, there's a lot of things that we actually do prior to doing that. We CC the combustion chambers, see how they stack up, CC the intake and exhaust port, measure the length of the ports, and then measure the opening faces of the ports themselves. All of that's going to come in later. You would know that I couldn't find my plexiglass to go across here, but we're going to do it anyways, and we'll probably be within a half a cc of what it actually is. But let's start this. Now that is interesting. I just came up with, that's 66 cc's. So I'm assuming probably 65 to 66. Instead of making a mess, this is how we get it out. Alright, we're going to do the intake port the same exact way. I don't have the springs on here, but what you can do is put grease on the face of the valve and it will actually seal up so that you can do this procedure. I will actually have to fill this up twice because this goes to 125 cc's. Alright, we're getting close to the top here. Like I said, it'd be nice if I had my plate, but I don't. Key to this is making sure that cylinder head is perfectly level. So, what do we come up with? If you remember, we put 125 in it to start with, and then 44, that comes up to be 169. They claim 171, but there is always a difference in what is rated and what you actually see on any aftermarket head. I don't care which one it is, you will see variance. Alright, time to do the exhaust. Same thing. This one should be around 80. Huh. Amount to be 74 on the nose. The thing about the small block Mopar head is the outside ports are bigger versus the inside because they got to make room for this head bolt boss here. So it's just one of those give and takes you got to deal with. So as you can see, the intake and exhaust runner come in a little bit smaller than what was advertised, with the combustion chamber coming in bigger by 3 cc's. Why did I pick that pair of runners? Well, it's simple. I figured that the exhaust port next to the head bolt boss would be the least flowing one. So you might be asking yourself, how do you measure the length of a port? Good question. Well, I'm getting ready to show you. You can go to the hobby store, find some really thin gauge wire, and basically it's a process of laying this in the port out to the valve seat here and pressing it down and molding the shape of the port at the top, and then doing it on the bottom, the short side radius coming out to here. And then this is what you're going to end up with, something like this. This mimics what the port actually looks like when you put the valve in there and you measure the distance of the port opening. So once you're at this point and you have 2 wires, what do you do with them? Pretty simple. You straighten the wires out. Measure the overall length of both of them. Add the two together. Divide by 2, and that is your port length. And that is trick of the day. What did we come up with once we did the math? Because that's what's important. Just remember, everything related to engines involves math at some point. We come up with 4.82 inch long runner here. What does that mean, David?
Hi folks, just slurping my coffee here. Well, what it means is this head is like a small block Chevy head with about 3/8 of an inch shaved off the manifold face. So what we've got is a port that, although it's what does it turn out to be,
169 cc.
69 cc. If it was the equivalent Chevy head for port volume and port size and area and all that, it would have to be about a I'm guessing probably about 176, 177. So if you're going to compare it with a Chevy head, you need to compare the flow figures with a Chevy head that's probably 177 to 180.
That's pretty good. Yeah. And the same thing applies with the small block Ford, which is around a 5-inch port as well.
Yeah,
so
they are. Yeah, it's the same. Same goes for the Ford. So this head, although it looks great because you say, well, it's only 160 cc and flows this much, it's a shorter port we're dealing with. So the cross-sectional area for any given cc will be bigger than it is for your equivalent Chevy or Ford. I just brought that up because you need to bias your judgment to the end results to match that feature.
Now that we have all of our critical measurements of the cylinder head, both intake and exhaust, we can move over here. I spent probably an hour getting this ready. This is a 4030 bore fixture that we're going to use initially, because I believe that's what Edelbrock uses with their flow numbers. And then, like I said, we're going to do something really cool. I'm going to go in there and reduce the size of the bore fixture down to the 318 size to see just how bad shrouding is. Will it be affected? I don't know. That's why we're doing all this. Now, first up is the 4030 bore. Then I'm going to take it back apart, put the little bore restriction in there, and then see what it does. So this fixture doesn't necessarily bolt up to this head, so I located the gasket with the bore, got it concentric, and then I'm using the cylinder head dowels to the gasket to make sure that the cylinder head is directly over the bore where it needs to be. Let's get this party started. Well, here we are. Just got finished flow testing the head stock on the 4030 bore. You notice I had to switch out my clay and make this manifold here to work with this. Yeah, that's all part of flow testing. The clay was trying to get sucked into the port. It wouldn't stick. Let's take a look at the numbers. Proof is in the pudding. Okay, you come down through here. These heads pretty much flow like Edelbrock says, with exception around 400 to 450. And then it comes back really strong at a 252. And then the port stalls out above 500. You can actually hear it. The port starts to make some noise, and then it backs up at 700. Exhaust port, pretty decent. Does really good. In the Edelbrock description, it says these heads are rated up from like 350 to 450 horsepower. Perfect street head. So this thing would actually support that, no problem. But if you wanted to shoot for the moon with what this head does, you could probably get this thing over 500 horsepower as cast. It would take compression. Everything would have to be spot on, but I do believe the head would do it. So now I'm going to take all this stuff back apart and reduce the bore down to 3.91. All right, so I got this thing buttoned up here on the fixture. What I'm going to do is get ready to flow test it. Now, David was going to make a bore fixture sleeve to go down in there, and I thought, nah, we don't need to do that. That's overcomplicating it. So what I did was take paint masking tape, wrap it around in the bore until I got to 3.91, and there you have it. Simple, no need to overcomplicate this thing. What I think is going to happen, and I'm probably going to be wrong, is I think it's going to hurt the low lift flow numbers. Once it starts getting above 450 to 500, the port's going to take over, and I don't think it's going to be affected. But I'll probably be wrong. So another thing I want to bring up to you. I've noticed that most of my people watching the video series on this are not subscribed. So if you like this content on the 318, hit that little subscribe button. It's free. So it helps me out. And then you get notified when I put out a video on cool stuff like this. The thing I hate about flow testing is it's loud. So go through and make sure my scales are right. Yep. All right, this is going to be really cool. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're doing this. I'm going to get my ink pen, my paper. Let's go to work. That is crazy. So we just finished this up, and I've got a saying, you don't know what you don't know, and this proves it. I was totally wrong. This is the 4030, this is the 391. You can see going down through the list, and in the mid-range it killed it, and as much as 27 right there. That's huge. So what do you think about losing that much?
Well, it's kind of blow my socks off, but there again, that's 3.91 up to 4-inch 03. So what's that? 90, that's 1/8 of an inch, right? I have not seen quite that much going from 4 inches to 4 inches 125 on a Chevy, right? I think 15 or 16. Now, I'm just thinking that the bigger bore on the Chevy starts off with it less shrouded. So that might be why it is. But this definitely points to the fact that on the Chrysler, you need to open that bore up.
Bingo. But wait, there's more. You didn't think I was going to stop there, did you? So it's no accident that I chose to do the 4030 bore. So if you remember in the last video, I talked about putting a notch in the bore around where the valve is actually shrouded. I'm going to try to mimic that here on the flow bench. I'm going to actually go in there and remove the tape, cut a notch in it that would emulate what I'm going to do on the block, and see if we can get some of that flow that we knocked out of this thing back. Because that's all important as far as trying to get the power that we want out of this engine. So this little notch here would represent what I'm going to do to the block. Now the block will look a lot better because I'm not trying to cut tape, but you get the idea. Let's see what happens when I put the cylinder head back on here and see what it actually does. Here are the results. This is the 4030 bore, 3.91 inch bore, and then the bore with the notch. What's interesting is it actually did gain, you know, onesies and twosies, like 7 and 8 through the mid-range, and up top, believe it or not, practically the same, which is interesting. But it just goes to show you that the notch does help, but I don't think this is representative of what's actually going to be in the bore because of the sharp edges there. So this was just a crude stab at trying to see what it would do, but we do see the gains. You know, we go from 225 to 232, that's 7. Right there you go. I mean, and it's minimum, you know, there's 6. So there you have it. What'd you think about that? Were you surprised, indifferent, shocked? All of this stuff is stuff that I've never seen tested on YouTube, and that's why we're doing it, because we're trying to learn how to make this 318 make as much power as possible. The port on these Edelbrock cylinder heads as cast is really good. It's a great street head. I think it would be an even better porter's head, which I know that there's people out there doing CNC programs to these heads making, you know, 600-700 horsepower. So you can make a lot of power with these heads. It just takes a lot of work, but out of the box, yeah, pretty cool stuff.
This is my comment here, right? The best way to see how good a cylinder head is to look at the discharge coefficient, which means the flow efficiency of the valve. Now, I know you guys won't be used to looking at numbers like this. Look, here's the exhaust here. Look at low lift, this thing's nearly 80% efficient.
Pretty good.
And this is like 72% efficient. Well, usually most heads are down around here. Now, when we get up to here, it's okay. This line here is when we get to 0.25 lift, and that's the point at which there's no more area. This line here is when we get to 0.25 lift on the intake. Past that, there's no area. Now, if we're good, we can make it turn up like this. That's a good port. We got to try and do that with the intake.
So this is what most people will be interested in seeing. This is the actual flow curve of the head. You can see that it's...
And that's straight off our flow program.
Yeah.
None of these messy things, right? All of our graphs are done quality like this.
As you can see, the ports are really good. It's going to be hard to improve on that exhaust off of the seat. We can probably make the port a little bit better. As far as the intake goes, there's room to be had, but it's still a pretty efficient port, and the discharge coefficient's really high for an as-cast cylinder head. We have our work cut out on this 318. I was really shocked about how the bore shrouds the valve. What did you think about that?
It makes me think an overbore on those engines is a good mod.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Not only do you increase the capacity, but you increase the flow by at least the same percentage as you increase the bore size.
Absolutely. So now I tested this as a 3.91. We know that our bore is going to be 3.97, so that's going to help alleviate that. And then the notch that I plan on putting in the bore is not going to be butchered up like that tape. Yeah. But I just wanted to see if we could see some data that would actually prove that notching the bore will actually make.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So until next time, this is Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage.
And David Barzard from PowerTech 10.
We're going to get back to work on this 318, and we will catch you later.